Yo, what's up, strategists? Welcome to the Bitcoin Strategy. Today, I want to talk about why you don't need to buy a full Bitcoin in order to enter the market, why it's not expensive, and how Bitcoin is very divisible in a unit called sats. Now, why is Bitcoin not expensive? One Bitcoin seems expensive, doesn't it? 85,000 just for one, but this is by design. This factor plays into a bias called unit bias. Now, what is unit bias? Let me pull up the definition. Unit bias is a cognitive bias, so a bias that you make in your head where individuals focus on the number of units they can own rather than the actual value of those units. This can lead investor to prefer cheaper tokens and digital assets, believing that they are getting a better deal without considering the token's total supply or underlying value. So people will buy cheaper coins like I'll throw one out there, XRP, because the price is lower, but they fail to take into account how Bitcoin can, let's say, for example, scale with the Lightning Network, or how Bitcoin is more secure, or I'm just making things up, how proof of work is better. Now, instead of setting goals in BTC units, you should instead set your goals in Satoshis. What does that mean? Let me explain below. What are Satoshis? Bitcoin has two units of measurement, a Bitcoin, BTC, and Satoshis, sats. You can think of Satoshis or sats for short as Bitcoin's version of cents on the dollar. One Bitcoin would be a dollar, and 100 million Satoshis would be a Bitcoin, just like 100 cents equals a dollar. Bitcoin has 8 decimal places instead of the 2 like the dollar has, so 50 cents would be 0.000000, that's 6 leading zeros, 50 BTC, or simply 50 sats. Here's an easy conversion table for reference. Let me pull it up. This is a nice graphic I found on X. So as you can see here, one Satoshi, 7 zeros. It's all the way at the end. This is in BTC units on the right and Satoshis on the left. One Bitcoin equals 100 million Satoshis, zero point 0.1, so a tenth of a Bitcoin is 10 million, and so on and so on. You can analyze this table better to understand how this conversion works. But to have this conversion done automatically for you, you can check out this nice conversion calculator I found online. It's bitcoin to satoshi.com. So if you had, let's say, 0.01 Bitcoin, that's a million Satoshis. If you had, say, a smaller amount, 0.005, that's 50,000. If you had one Bitcoin, that's 100,000. It's a pretty great calculator, pretty handy. Or you could do it manually with a handheld calculator. Let me pull up a calculator real quick. So if, let's say, you had a tenth of a Bitcoin, that's 0.1 BTC. So you do, let me click, zero point 0.1 times 100 million, and that will get you 10,000 Satoshis. If you had one Bitcoin, for example, times that by 100 million, that's 100 million Satoshis. So you could do it manually with a handheld like that. And if you want to convert sats to Bitcoin, you would do the same thing, but instead of multiplying it, you would divide it. So let's say you had that 10,000 right here. You had a tenth of a Bitcoin. So 10 million, that's in Satoshis, divided by 100 million, and that gets you 0.1. So that's how you do it with a handheld calculator. Now, setting your goals, your Bitcoin goals, now that you know one Bitcoin is equal to 100 million sats, you can now adjust your goals accordingly. If your goal is 0.1 Bitcoin, a tenth of a Bitcoin, it's about 8,500 at current market prices. It's now 10,000 sats or 10 million sats. If your goal is 0.01 Bitcoin, it is now 1 million sats. One Satoshi is also much cheaper than many of the quote unquote cheaper coins out there. For example, one Bitcoin Satoshi is 0.00085 USD, whereas one XRP is $2.12. One Cardano, 63 cents. One Dogecoin, 16 cents, and so on and so on. Using Satoshis instead of the standard Bitcoin unit makes it easier to comprehend smaller units of Bitcoin, but also effectively kills unit bias since you'll have thousands upon thousands of Satoshis compared to just a fraction of a BTC. Now, going on to ridding yourself of unit bias. In the Bitcoin and crypto space, many people out there will try and take your money by claiming their coin is better than Bitcoin because it's cheaper, but that's not how markets work. Since there's only around 19 million Bitcoins currently in circulation and a $1.7 trillion bid or market cap on Bitcoin, those $1.7 trillion will need to fit into 19 million coins. So what you would do is take the market cap of Bitcoin, which is about 1.7 trillion currently, and divide it by the current coins in circulation. Now, how I got that, the current coins in circulation, it's a website called CoinMarketCap. If you hover over the coin, you want to see the circulating supply. Right here, it will tell you the numbers. So right now, 19,851,446 Bitcoin in circulation. You could do the same thing for Ethereum, USDT, XRP, so on and so on. So if you take the market cap divided by coins in circulation, you get a price of 85,636 per Bitcoin, which pretty much is correct. I mean, the market does fluctuate. So now let's say there's another coin out there like Bitcoin, same market cap, same valuation, 1.7 trillion, but has 10,000 times more units than Bitcoin. So instead of 21 million coins or 19 million coins, there's going to be 198 billion. And using the same formula, market cap divided by units in circulation, you would get a price of 8.56 per Bitcoin. Notice how the more coins that are in circulation, the cheaper the fiat price gets. This is how those crypto bros get you. Now, in short, don't fall victim to unit bias. If an otherwise an amazing investment turns into a bad investment because the price per unit is too high, you, my friend, are a bad investor and need to rethink your investment decision. I have much more content on this channel that explains why Bitcoin is the apex predator of the digital assets market. Go check them out. Now, if you enjoyed this content, feel free to like, comment, or even subscribe. It's very much appreciated. And as always, stay orange pilling, stack sats, and have a great rest of your day.